Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to another Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
I'm Count Jackula.
And we watched this movie called Dead Night, which stars Barbara Crampton and AJ Bowen and a whole lot of horror people, and is kind of a mixed bag.
It's a very mixed bag.
It's like there's a lot about it that I really liked, but there's also a lot about it that just it didn't quite work as well as it should have.
Yeah.
It has all the elements, but it needs to be arranged better.
Yeah, it has everything it needs. Well, I'll be honest. I thought it could have gotten more bugfuck at the end.
Oh, it could have. It could have. That's true.
You know,
that's true. It could have gone like full Fulci by the end of it.
Yeah. Like if they had
or Suspiria or something.
Yeah. If they had just gone like full like woo like mind bendy fucking Suspiria shit.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
I've been like, okay, yeah, cool. Well,
I could agree with that.
Then you would have had an art house version of fucking Prince of Darkness, you know.
Even with the ending it had, though, if it was at least arranged in a way in which I understood the series of events better, I think I would have still walked away just a little bit happier.
Yeah.
Because basically what this movie centers around is this family who are going to this cabin, and the dad has cancer, and so they're basically trying to have like one last awesome family vacation before like the inevitable happens. But what they don't tell you until you're sitting there watching the movie is that this is juxtaposed with all this like true crime drama recreation stuff, and you're not quite sure what that is at the beginning, but over the course of the movie it becomes clearer.
Yeah.
And all you know is that apparently everyone but the mother dies, and then the rest of the movie is finding out how that happens.
Yeah. That's pretty much your...
And I didn't spoil that because they tell you this at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, this is the very beginning of the movie.
And before we get to the spoilers, the things I can say before we get to the spoilers that are criticisms is that it was not clear to me at the beginning what the hell the connection was between the true crime stuff and the family until like the third time it cut back to it. And I'm like, oh, that's the same mom. Okay, now I get it. This is in the future.
Yeah. I got the connection, but I found myself wondering why we were doing it this way.
Yeah, it was a really... The other thing is I kind of wish they had done the true crime thing at the beginning. Like, before we cut to the family, if they told us, like, oh, this murder that happened in this cabin and this mom, this ex-murdering mom who got away with it. Stay tuned. And then cut to the family?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You know, then I feel like that would have been smoother. Now, granted, I know why they didn't do that, because they have this prologue at the beginning of the movie that doesn't make sense until way later in the movie, but it doesn't actually explain itself. You kind of have to figure it out.
Yeah, well, like, I think we could talk about that opening, which is, it's completely unnecessary.
Yeah, what is it? There's like a couple, they're in the woods, they're gonna make out, and then random person kills them.
Yeah.
Random weird disformed person in weird like shambles.
Yeah, and then the woman's giving birth in a grove of trees.
Yes.
You know, like, and
you're like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah. Now, this is not bad in and of itself, but in the context of the rest of the movie, you're like, this scene really doesn't belong here at all.
The only thing it explains is something I can only talk about when we get to the spoilers, and we'll get to that. But even then, the movie never tells you this.
Yeah. The movie never tells you this, and it's one of those things where it was like, I feel like it would have been better left unsaid and use that time for something else.
Yeah, like, just opening with the fucking true crime thing.
Yeah, just open with the true crime thing, and then it's all good.
That being said, some of the stuff I did like about the movie is there is some great performances by Barbara Crampton in this movie.
Oh yeah, Barbara Crampton's great.
She does a good job. AJ Bowen is, if you want to call a guy to play an understated character but who is charming, then AJ Bowen's the guy you call. And he does a good job with that in this. He plays the father. Let's see, who else was in the movie? The dude from John Dies at the End is at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, he's in the beginning of the movie.
He's kind of wasted in this small cameo, but he is in the movie.
Yeah, this movie was done by a lot of Don Coscarelli alum, and I believe he is even one of the producers. Yeah,
he produced it, and to that extent, that explains why the movie is so disjointed.
Yeah.
Because Don Coscarelli movies tend to have that kind of disjointedness. But with John Dies at the end, it makes sense because that movie's supposed to be like a drug trip.
Yeah.
And with Phantasm, it makes sense because those movies are supposed to be like nightmares.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why they're disjointed. He didn't do that with Bubba Hotep because wouldn't make sense. Ooh. But he, or at least his team, tried to do that here, and it was just really confusing.
Yeah. The director his name is like Bradford.
Bradford.
Apparently,
this movie at one point was called Apple Cart, and
that makes less sense.
Okay, Dead Night is a super generic title that tells you nothing about the movie, but Apple Cart makes no sense. I can understand why they changed the title.
Because there are no apples in the movie.
I wish it had some sort of like true crime name or something like that. Just something to tie it more in, because Dead Night is so generic and Apple Cart makes no sense.
Yeah.
Maybe Apple Cart made sense in another cut of the movie. I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Just move on to spoilers.
All right. So I kind of recommend half of this movie, and the other half can just die in a fire. With that said, let us move on to the spoilers. Okay, then. So basically what it turns out is happening here is some sort of weird satanic ritual by these witches in order to make Barbara Crampton become mayor in the future.
Yeah, or like state governor or something.
Yeah, some sort of like big like a position, like a senator or something big.
Yeah, because the movie keeps getting interrupted by like political ads.
Yeah, by her and
Barbara Crampton's character.
And they establish that the movie takes place in 2015, which is probably when this movie was originally going to be made.
Yeah.
But the ads all take place in 2020.
Yep.
Which is the big indication you have that like the ads and the true crime stuff is from the future.
Yep.
And apparently, like, okay, they never really tell you, but the intro of like the girl giving birth was giving birth to Barbara Crampton, I think.
Yeah.
Like she's basically it's like the Omen. She's the Antichrist. And,
yeah, pretty much.
And so this whole movie is basically them performing some sort of ritual to get her elected in 2020.
Yeah.
That's what I got from it.
Yeah.
It never really tells you.
That's the plot. Now, you're probably going, okay, well, what's the deal with this family? Why is this family involved? Okay, so apparently they need to die for the ritual.
For the ritual. Yeah. And one of them turns into a witch. Inexplicably.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot where I'm just like, I think the problem with this movie is that like some movies over-explain. This movie has so much shit thrown at you and doesn't bother to tell you anything.
Yeah. Because the entire time you're just trying to fit this into some sort of context, right?
Yeah.
What is Barbara Crampton after? Because like she's killing all these people.
Yep.
You know, and you're like, hey, kitty. Yeah,
there's a kitty right below the screen.
This is just gonna be a little shit. All right, you gonna go up there?
Yeah, we'll open the window for you after the recording, buddy.
I know. Why don't you get on camera for a minute?
Oh, look at the kitty.
Look at the kitty.
He's got a stitch next to his ear right now, so he's healing from that, and that's why he's got this little, like, Jurassic Park raptor neck thing. Or whatever those dinosaurs are called.
Dilophosaurs.
Yeah.
Anyway, fucking... Yeah, so Barbara Crampton's killing people. You're never... There's this whole plot that centers around killing this family, and you're like, why are we killing this family?
And every time they kill a member of the family, they turn into a zombie thing, and then start killing the rest of the family.
Yeah.
And sometimes they kill a member of the family, but then they don't kill the member of the family because it's an hallucination, and... So it's very like, I don't even know what's real anymore by the end of this movie.
Yeah. And you find yourself going like, okay, well, why do we... Usually there's some sort of indication of we need to kill these people for this reason.
Yeah, and the only thing you get is that like a friend of the family, not even the family, is like one of the granddaughters of the witches.
Yeah.
That's the only connection or anything you get.
Yeah. And you're just like, oh.
And they don't even kill her. They turn her into a witch.
Yeah, but it's like being a witch is like being a vampire.
Yeah, it was
kind
weird.
of,
It was
you
weird because
know?
I'm sitting there, I'm like,
It's
so you just turn into an old lady? Like, you just...
yeah, it was really weird. And like they have this tree stump that they get television signals out of.
That is the coolest part of the movie.
It is the coolest part of the movie.
This idea that they have, like, foregone with, like, the crystal balls, and they now just hook up directly to the transmission of the other world through television sets.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Unfortunately, the constantly cutting to the television set, showing us shit from the future, is really confusing.
Yeah. Like, and it's weird because like I'll put up with a lot of bullshit. Like,
But I mean, we just mentioned like the other Don Coscarelli movies that are all over the place, but we love them.
yeah. Well, this one actually reminded me a bit more of Season of the Witch,
Oh.
which is not a Don Coscarelli movie. It is the third installment in the Halloween series, the one that doesn't have Michael Myers in it.
That one explains itself way better than this.
Oh, it does. But it's still that kind of like weird, hey, if we kill people on Halloween, then evil, you know? Like
At least I can buy they were evil for the sake of evil in that movie.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because in this one, they hint at the fact that they're after something greater, but you're like, are you just trying to make Barbara Crampton like the president or something?
Well, that was what was annoying me, was that they made it very clear it wasn't president. It was like senator or lieutenant governor or some shit like that. And I'm just like, if she was gonna be president, then it would make more sense. Like, if you wanted to give her the highest power of echelons. But, like, you're just making her, like, the head of, like, the state. It's like...
Yeah. Well, it's like at that point, then she could have just been evil Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
You know? And that might have been fun. And there's no reason you couldn't have done that. And I just... There's a whole bunch of why.
Yeah.
That's the big
And it's
problem with the
also
movie.
really low budget, so a lot of, like, the zombies running around and chasing, like, it's very choppily put together from footage that they obviously shot, like, on multiple weekends.
Yeah. So a lot of times the lighting doesn't match. And normally I don't give a shit about that kind of stuff. But
Oh, no.
Like that,
Well, if you add that to it being really confusing, it's, like, you know, it just piles up.
It was kind of a letdown because the entire time I'm looking at this plot going like, you know, if they just went like Lords of Salem level of bug fuck at the end, this movie would have been saved just for the pure what the fuckery.
It has all the elements, you know? Like, it has the cast, it has... Okay, there's going to be some sort of ritual performed in order to make someone president or something, but then it just doesn't...
Yeah, and then just kind of nothing happens.
It constructs it in a way that is really confusing.
Yeah. It's like people die, but like, why did we need to see Barbara Crampton being born?
No, why?
Yeah, why? Like we could have. It could have.
Wait, see, that's what
we already are doing. The reveal of okay, she's an evil woman who's killing people for the ritual. We don't need to know that she was born.
That's
when
what I
Hook
mean.
Man raped her mom or something. You know. Like,
that's what I mean when I say when it originally showed us the true crime shit, I was really confused because when it first showed us the true crime shit, I thought they were talking about what happened in the 50s.
Yeah.
With the opening. I thought it was talking about that. And then it's like, oh, it's actually talking about this family. Wait, now this is really confusing. What's going on? Like, you know?
Yeah, I just wanted, like, God damn it.
Maybe there's a cut of this movie. There's a lot of shit on the cutting room floor that makes it make more coherent sense.
Maybe.
I have no idea.
Like, because this thing's kind of a confusing mess.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me kind of sad because I really like Barbara Crampton and I like the Don Coscarelli alums. And yeah, this movie just didn't quite do it for me.
No.
It had a lot of beautiful little moments, like the television.
Television was great. Barbara Crampton, like, just kind of barging into this family's life was great.
Yeah.
She's just, like, being this, like, she doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, how to put it, like, I feel like it would have been better if we had established that she was already, like, a senator about to run up about to enter the next presidential race. Like, she's the next, like,
if she was already,
Yeah, and then, and don't tell people exactly what fucking year it is, so it could just be kind of whenever. And have people go, like, what is... But because then you could have that extra discomfort of, what is someone like Hillary Clinton doing up here in the middle of the woods?
Oh, yeah.
You know, because they found her almost frozen to death. And that's another thing where you're like, why did we do that?
I guess it was just her way to get in, but to what
to
I don't know.
what end?
I don't know what end.
Like, yeah, it's like what you could have gone in Purge style and just fucking killed everybody and had the same effect as far as we know.
Well, that's the other question about the ceremony is like, why not just walk in and shoot everybody? Like,
Yeah.
like...
Why not? Like, do you have to use the special knife? Do you need the tiki idol to be in the kitchen?
It just doesn't. Like, it feels like the movie overthought a bunch of elements it didn't need to overthink, and then underthought everything else.
Yeah, yeah. Like the kill where the one where the daughter gets killed is pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But
there's good kills in this.
Yeah.
Like there's good moments of people dying.
Yeah, this is a really good movie to pick apart so that you can see what works and what doesn't work. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're like, well, I got to put scenes together somehow because you're a writer or you're into role-playing games or you write scripts or short stories, that you can go, oh, that's why that didn't work. You know, and
I can see that.
Yeah, the biggest problem is that we don't know what we don't know what the ritual is because it just seems like the ritual is just killing people.
Well, that's the other thing is the movie treats the ritual like that's the twist at the end of the movie. And you're like, okay, but what?
Yeah, but what's the ritual for?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, it's just to give her power? What? The power to get elected? Like,
I guess?
maybe, but like, does she need to feed? Does she have to... Like, a demon shows up at the end of this movie, and that doesn't clarify a goddamn thing.
It just makes it more confusing.
Yeah, you're just sort of like, okay, so I guess demon shows up, confers his blessing upon Barbara Crampton. Now she's going to become president or something. I'm like, okay, is that what we needed the ritual for? To summon this demon so that he can grant you the power? Yeah. What? Okay.
Like, you expect her to, like, have a conversation at the end. It's like, I want to be president of the United States or something.
Yeah, something.
You know,
something.
like,
and it just kind of doesn't happen. And
but the only thing I can take is that she's supposed to be like the Antichrist because that's who was given birth at the beginning. But the thing is that the movie never actually tells you that's what she is or that's what the beginning was.
Yeah.
You have to figure that out.
Yeah, you have to figure that out. And it's sort of like, sometimes that works, but in this case, it kind of didn't. You know, and I felt kind of bad.
Mm-hmm.
I was sad. I'm like, this movie could have been way better. Like, cause like, you know, let's compare it to The Omen. Everything that happens in The Omen, you know why it happens.
Yes, The Omen's great.
Yeah, you know, it's
Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's
Any
Baby,
of those
same
kinds
thing.
of movies.
Yeah, it's like, no, it all builds up to a twist, and you see how everything fits in. This builds up to a twist, but you're left with so many questions as to how things fit in. Oh, yeah. It's like not explaining it was the glue that they poured over everything to make everything hold together. It's just like, that's not so good. Oh, well.
So, if you are interested in watching Dead Night, I will include it in an Amazon affiliate link in the description below. And where can they find you, Count Jackula?
You can find me on Twitter at count_Jackula.com. You can find me on Twitch. I'm probably going to be streaming that new World of Warcraft.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty fucking soon, because can't do it now though, because it's day one, so servers are fucked.
Everyone's trying to log in, so
everyone's trying to log in. It's just like you know, just can't fucking do it. But yeah, fucking, and I stream like every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and Sunday at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You should all come down. And that's where we do our regular talk show stream thing. And that'll be cool. And I'll see you there.
Hell yeah. You can find me on Twitter at The Horror Guru, on Facebook at Blood Splattered Cinema. You can find me on Twitch at The Horror Guru, and I'll include links to that stuff in the description below. And as per usual, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And, God, am I forgetting anything? I'll link my Patreon below if you want to see more videos like this and you want to support the channel. And, yeah, I don't know what to say other than this movie was just incredibly disappointing. But there's still some good shit in it. You just wish it was in a better movie.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's one of those things where you're like, you know, it's like when Barbara Crampton is in, it's not Barbara Crampton in You're Next.
She's in You're Next, yeah. She's the mom.
Yeah. But like, You know,
It's not like her. Okay,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
like, oh my God, everything is
Robert Crampton
awesome now.
doing a good performance in this
in
really
a good
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
You know, in a good movie, and everything's working. This is Barbara Crampton's giving you a good performance in a not so good movie.
Yeah, there you go. So peace out, my fellow gorehounds, and we'll catch y'all later.